Now that it's been set up for about a week, this 10-gallon cherry shrimp tank looks pretty good. The dwarf pennywort did experience some melting, as did the dwarf Sagittaria. I failed to mention in the aquascaping video the name of that plant, but I did include the name in the description. In the course of aquascaping this tank, I did remove a few leaves from the Anubias that were damaged or heavily covered in blackbeard algae. The blackbeard largely died off after a couple of treatments out of water with hydrogen peroxide. I am in the process of breaking down another 10-gallon cherry shrimp colony that isn't doing so well. It's the tank from which I got the Anubias. That tank has a recurring problem of blackbeard algae. The substrate of that tank is not capped with sand. It's just gravel on compost and some potting soil. So I'm retrieving plants from that tank slowly and treating them in a bath of 1 gallon of water to 1 tablespoon of alum for just a day or two to rid them of pest snail and limpet eggs. I want to avoid bringing those pests into this scape. I believe I found a likely spot for this Anubias on a driftwood ornament. I'll move very slowly, giving any shrimp a chance to get out of the way. It's difficult to see. You might be wondering why I put the Anubias in the background. You may say, well, why didn't I just put it right there in the front where it'd be more visible? Well, that's the feeding area. I like to have a nice bare stage in front where I can feed the shrimp. And especially when I only have a few shrimp in a tank, I want to be able to easily remove the leftovers so that it doesn't soil the water. In a tank with hundreds of shrimp, that isn't necessary because shrimp are scavengers and they love to eat leftovers. Here with the side view of the tank, you can see the new ornament I just added on the right. Since I'm breaking down the 110-gallon shrimp colony, I'm moving the best dwarf Sagittaria plant I have to this tank, after a treatment in alum solution, of course. Here's some more Rotala clippings from the betta tank, which is not infested with snails or limpets. Some recommend removing the bottom few leaves for planting. I'm not sure why. I think that the bottom leaves will help anchor these clippings into the substrate. They're just going to rot and add to the fertilizer anyway. In fact, the leaves on the dwarf Sagittaria that were deteriorating, and also the stems of the dwarf pennywort, I just pushed them into the substrate. That's something Father Fish recommended, and I think it makes perfect sense. I think this 10-gallon aquascape is really starting to take shape. A fellow aquarist recommended that I use carbon to remove tannin from the water, and I don't have an extra bio bag at the moment, so I was considering putting some carbon in a sock and putting it in the hang on the back filter, but I thought perhaps detergent from the wash or maybe even the dye in the sock might do some harm to my shrimp and or plants. And I was considering opening a package of cheesecloth that I've had for years and just wrapping some carbon in that and putting it in the filter. But then I realized I haven't used filter cartridges for years, and every time I buy another hang on the back filter, it comes with one. So I put one of the cartridges in the hang on the back filter along with one of the sponges that was already in there full of beneficial bacteria. And after just a few days, I believe that the tannin has gone down considerably. Perhaps the water is a bit clearer as well. So, although they're not good long term, they only last about a month, the carbon anyway. The cartridges that the companies sell with the hang on the back filters and want us to keep spending our money on to replace, they do have their uses in the hobby.